Oh, hi, Mike. Long time no see.
Hey, Kacey, I was wondering if you were still alive.
Hey, you want to do a show?
No, not right now.
Okay. How about now?
Okay.
It's the Infinite Loop Show.
Hello, welcome to the Infinite Loop Show, episode number 42. We found Kacey. I am Michael Gaines.
And I am Kacey Coughlin. I was buried under a mountain of code.
That's actually what you are. You're a mountain of code. Exactly. You've been busy as hell.
Yeah, and it's only letting up briefly, but yeah.
Briefly enough where you can like poke your head out like a groundhog and say, let's do a show.
Hi.
If Kacey sees her shadow, then we do a show.
Indeed.
All right, should we get to the news?
Sure, why not?
The iPad mini is out.
Yay, it is. And it's so cute.
No, it's a little late, but we didn't do a show last week. Your husband bought one.
Yes.
Okay, I did not. So since you played with it, the iPad, not your husband, why don't you tell everybody about it?
It's super light and super thin. It is, I believe it's thinner and light. It is lighter, but I believe it's thinner as well than the iPhone 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've said this to a lot of people that I have the iPad 3. I didn't think I needed this. Like, I don't need two tablets, and why do I need a smaller tablet? If I'm going to be doing word processing or any kind of work on the iPad, I like having the bigger screen.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Totally throw all that out the window. I am I'm giving heavy consideration to selling my iPad 3 and getting the mini because you play around with that, with the thinner bezel and, it's lighter and thinner, like I said. And then you go back to the iPad 3 or the iPad 4 for that matter, and it feels like an outdated dinosaur piece of crap from the 80s. Because it's huge and the bezel, is big
Really?
and it's heavy and you're just like, what the F? Like the other one's so much sleeker and just cooler.
By design, physical design, I would totally agree with you. But what about when you say that it feels like a dinosaur? I mean, what about the processor speed on the 3 and the 4 and everything else that you can do on the
now the 4 versions? I haven't played with, but the mini is about as zippy as my 3 is.
Okay.
Like I don't feel any difference in terms of speed. Huh. The only thing that is weird is typing on it. Now, the mini really is a great use case for that break apart keyboard. When you break apart the keyboard into like two thumb keys.
Sure.
That's kind of weird. The iPad, okay, if you want to do that. That is the way to type on the mini.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be typing on, an extra tiny keyboard, even in landscape. But even with the thumb keyboard, it's kind of weird. But aside from that, everything else is great and it's perfect, and I really enjoy it.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you like it. I went to the Apple store recently. I had to get a Thunderbolt cable, and I walk in, and I sort of glanced at the iPad minis, and I didn't even bother going to pick it up or trying it because I have a 3. I probably should have. I mean, as a dedicated Apple fan, I probably should have.
Touch it.
I mean, lick it? No, not in the store. Just touch. Actually, I really wanted to get in and out. That's what he said. But no, I was in desperate need of a Thunderbolt cable. It's a long story with a busted drive and everything like that. So next time I go there, I'll take a look at it. I'll spend some. In fact, well, not this weekend, but maybe next weekend I'll go to the Apple store and I'll go get one. I mean,
Yeah.
just like look at one. So
another thing with the Retina display, because it's a big kind of point a lot of people make, like, oh, well, I'll get the next one because it doesn't have a Retina display, and that's a total deal breaker, and it's got to have Retina, and I can't go back once I have a Retina iPad. You know, you can't go backwards. It's really hard to tell the difference because the size is smaller, even though the same native resolution as the iPad 1 on a smaller screen. Yeah, it's not quite Retina, which is what, 320 DPI.
It's 3. Oh, I just did some graphics for it. Yeah, it's 3 something. It's not 320, but it's.
But so on the iPad Mini, even that low res, it comes out to around, I want to say 200, which is, it's close, but they can't quite call it Retina. But it's so close, like you don't look at it, you don't look at the 2 and go, oh yeah, that's messed up, I can't even look at this. I can see pixels. You know, it's not that kind of, it's not like when you were looking at the iPhone 4 and the 3GS.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a stark difference. It's not that scenario at all. So I really don't think that's even I mean, it really shouldn't even be a deal breaker.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad that you like it. I personally, just like I said, I've got a 3. If I were to get anything right now, well, I wouldn't get anything right now because I then would have gotten the 4. But I'm happy with the 3, and I'm happy with its speed and the Retina display. And as a developer, I would probably need it anyway. Let me ask you something because I wasn't quite sure about this. The size of, not the size, but the resolution of the screen, is it 1024 by 768?
Yeah.
Okay, it's the same because somebody was telling me that it's 1024 by 1024. I'm like, no, that can't be right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a perfect square.
Yeah, it's a perfect square. What are you talking about? It's rectangular. It can't be 1024 square. What are you kidding me?
Yeah. So, yeah, and he, you know, it's funny is when we went to go get it, Ed was my husband. He just got this new jacket that has this internal pocket that is almost that size. And he said, if it fits in there, I'm going to buy it. If it doesn't fit in this pocket.
That was the deal breaker, whether or not it fit in his pocket?
It perfectly fit in that pocket. And he loves it. Like, it's ridiculous. He doesn't have to go buy a man purse to bring it around with him anymore, which was his deal breaker. Like, that was a big thing with the original iPad is, you know, he couldn't really take it anywhere because he didn't want to buy a man purse and, you know, it doesn't fit in a pocket or anything. This totally solves all those problems.
Let me ask you this. This goes off on a tangent just a little bit, but how often does your husband bring the iPad along with him? Because I used to bring my Newton around everywhere, and then I learned that I really didn't need it for everything.
Well, now that he has that jacket and it fits everywhere.
Oh.
He just brings it with him everywhere, like his wallet and his phone, and now his iPad Mini.
His iPad. Okay, cool. The SmartGlass app for iOS is finally out. And I say finally because it's a Microsoft product, but this is actually pretty wicked. I like it.
It came out for Android, a few weeks ago?
Yeah. Here's the funny thing. It came out it didn't come out for anything a month ago. And then Microsoft said, well, it's going to be a while before it comes out. Then it comes out for Android. And then there was a quote that said, well, it's not going to be out for iOS for quite a while. And then, of course, it comes out like 2 weeks later. So
quite a while.
It comes out. Here's the thing about SmartGlass. It's an interesting idea. In reality, I'm not hugely impressed with it, only because you need to have your Xbox on for it to work. And I know some of you are probably going to go, well, derp, of course it has to be on. What I mean by that is, when I'm working with iTunes on my iPhone and you've got iTunes Match, everything is downloaded from the cloud. If you want to listen to your music on SmartGlass, you can't. It says your Xbox is off. So you can't use it.
To listen to music on my iPhone, I don't need to go to my computer and turn iTunes on or open iTunes. You know, that kind of issue where you would think some of that info would be stored on Microsoft servers, but it's pretty much acting like everything is hosted and served locally from your Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know where that starts and begins, but it shouldn't be everything. You should be able to use the app a little bit without the Xbox being on.
Right. And so right now, I can look at my Xbox Live achievements and my friends and chat with them. It's interesting. I really like it a lot. It's a nice way for me to use my Xbox Live account. In fact, just before we were recording, Kacey and I were talking about the difference between Sony's PlayStation and the Xbox 360 as far as social goes. And we both agree that even though we're both Sony fanboys, that the 360 has a far better social aspect. And so something like this is pretty cool. I'm not one of those people that uses my Xbox 360 account 24/7. I know some people that do. I mean, I have friends with like 30, 40,000 points, like achievement points and such. I mean, they live and breathe on their 360. What I do is I'll use it for like a month straight. I'll live and breathe on it, and then I won't touch it for 4 months because I just don't.
Yeah, me too. I'd like to really see like a for PS3 or PlayStation in general, to kind of serve up your achievements and stuff for that interface. But like you said, with the social and community, there's just a much bigger, stronger community and push from the parent company around Xbox and Xbox Live than there is and possibly will ever be for the PlayStation Live network, whatever.
I tell you, I love the PlayStation 3, but Sony's got to get their ass in gear as far as social is concerned. I mean, they keep trying, but it's like these little baby steps that they're taking. I mean, they really need to take social by the balls, so to speak. Excuse my French, and do something with it. Do something amazing with it. This is Sony we're talking about. They're not doing anything that they should.
I know. Stop making 20-inch tablets. Nobody wants those. And do this.
Put some money into social, damn it. I tell you. So
when are we getting
I was going to ask you that. No, you take this one.
So those awesome sexy new iMacs that were shown off last month,
the lickable ones,
the very same.
Yes.
You're not going to be able to lick them until next year now.
Apparently there's a welding problem with the new iMacs, and they're apparently not going to come out until early 2013, which means that they're going to miss the entire Christmas season. This can do some serious damage to Apple's quarter. Because if this stuff comes out after Christmas, then people are just not going to have the money to spend on them. Not as many people.
People aren't going to buy a $2,000 Apple gift card and put that under the tree.
True. And so it's a big problem for Apple. I don't know why they're finding out about this welding problem now. I'm not big on the whole manufacturing side of things, but I would think that they would have had something worked out months ago.
Right. Yeah, that seems silly.
Yeah, it does. So that's that. If you're waiting for a new iMac, you may have to be waiting for a while. Maybe there'll be a miracle, a Christmas miracle. Festivus miracle.
Yes.
And now
there'll be more complaining at Festivus.
And now the airing of the grievances. Casey, you and your internet connection is not that good.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I had no idea. Look, it always freezes when I'm doing the worst stuff, too. It can't freeze when I'm looking cute and have like a smile on my face. It has to freeze when I have like a retarded look on my face.
I know. I said to Kacey that if I had the means, I would put her in like a tropical rainforest or something, like with a fake background behind her, and put her in the trenches. And then so then when your video freezes, it'll look like you're under attack.
Yeah, I am. I'm under attack of horrible bandwidth.
iTunes Match is going to be a year old.
Yay! I don't use it. I don't care.
Do you? No, I know. All right, you don't care. No, you don't use it then, right?
No, I mean, I know you use it. And,
I love it.
But, I mean, so they went 1 year without falling apart? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Well, Apple is. I got an email from Apple saying that they're going to be charging me $25 for another year. No, that's fine because I use this all the time. I mean, it's not. You know what? There's one thing about it that I don't like, and that is I would really like the ability to stream. And when this was in beta, there was a version of it for one beta release of iOS. I think it was iOS 5 that allowed you to stream instead of download and then play. Oh. But then they got rid of it. I don't know why. I guess they just chose not to do that. That's one thing that I would really like. But everything else about iTunes Match, I absolutely love. In fact, there was I had a hard drive issue. That goes back to the Thunderbolt problem that I was having that I mentioned a few minutes ago. And I lost not a lot of albums. But because they were in iTunes Match, it said, do you want to re-download them? Okay. And it did. And it just re-downloaded everything for me.
Nice.
So, I mean, is that itself worth $25? Well, no, I mean, no, there's more to it than that. The ability to listen to everything on the road, I love that. And I know there's Spotify. Yeah. I actually sent in 2 bug reports to Spotify today because I really want to love the app. I want to, but it's just a little too buggy for me. So that's what I did. macOS 10.9 is starting to show up on people's web servers.
Yay! Well, I would think that, I mean, this makes sense if they're going to start this yearly cycle, so that whatever this next cat is going to be called is due out June?
Yeah, June.
July?
June, July. Well, for WWDC.
Yeah, so they need to start testing and stuff about now. So, I mean, this isn't terribly surprising.
No, it's just interesting to know that another dot release is coming. However, I think we talked about this maybe a while ago, is that what's going to happen when we reach 10.10? Are they going to, I mean, is it still going to be OS 10? Are we going to see 10.10, 10.11? Or what?
Yeah, it's going to go to 11.
This OS goes to 11.
Yeah.
No, I just don't know if they're going to stick with the cats or not. I think they're running out of them.
Yeah, I know. When you have lion and then mountain lion and leopard and snow leopard, you're I think you're getting pretty thin.
Yeah. I'd like to see some named after birds. Birds of prey. Eagle. Pterodactyl.
Or monkeys. They could have like chimpanzee and bonobo.
No. You can't do monkeys.
Bonobo. That has a wonderful ring to it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Rise of the Planet of the OSs. No, I don't think that'll work. Birds would work. Cats. You know what they could do? They could just move to house cats. Right?
Yeah.
Hairless. Hairless. OS 10 hairless.
Oh. OS 10 domestic. OS 10 tabby.
OS 10 long haired. I didn't mean to say that while you were drinking. Sorry. I don't want your coffee to go all over your laptop there.
That would not be good.
No, it wouldn't be good.
You think video spotty now. All right.
Anyway, I guess we'll be expecting 10.9 by the time WWDC comes out. So they've got some time to work on it, obviously. And I'd really like to know how. I'm more interested in the seemingly convergence of iOS and OS 10 and where that's going. Because there's so many similarities and the seeming convergence seems to be moving along, and I want to see what happens.
Yeah, it's definitely going in that direction.
Yep. Apple's been messing around with this Samsung apology on the web.
I actually really like this. It's like, I don't know. The judge seems to not think it's very funny, but I think it's very like cute and smart. Of Apple. I guess it's not very.
Yeah, Apple added the words "they are not as cool" to their apology, and the judge went, "No, you can't do that," and then they had to take it down.
They also added links to the previous decisions in the U.S. that said that Samsung had infringed on the iPad, even though it doesn't. In the Europe, everywhere else it does. So look here.
Yeah.
And then the judge was like, that doesn't exactly do what I'm asking you to do. So then the judge even went so far as to lay out some ground rules to be in, I think, at least like a 14-point font or something, and it had to be in Arial or Helvetica, and it had to be on the front page. It couldn't be like drilled down on a subpage. And so, the Catholic school teacher came down to Apple to rap on their hands.
The penguin. Oh, I need to watch the Blues Brothers again. It's been way too long. There are screenshots of the supposed Microsoft Office app for the iPhone and the iPad, which is coming early next year. Which we've seen. We've seen some screenshots of this months ago, but these are But I think that was like a splash screen, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just kind of the initial like selection screen, but
yeah, here it is.
It's got that Metro vibe all over it. The very kind of flat 2D graphics and interface. It's kind of like, that Metro, the Windows 8, Windows Phone 7 or 8 look.
Yeah, well, it looks a lot like the Xbox 360 dashboard. It's got this. It seems to have the same color green and the same sort of flatness to it. And
they're carrying that theme across all their products, it seems, which is good. That's a smart move on their part to, have a unifying theme on everything. They're really taking cues from another company. I don't know who that could be, but
well, that sort of goes into another story that we have, which is about the change. I'm going to jump a little bit. We reported a couple weeks ago about how Jony Ive is going to be taking over the software development side of things instead of just the hardware. It's been rumored that he is going to be changing a lot of the interface. Steve Jobs apparently liked some of the looks of things, like the leather and the stitching and
the skeuomorphism.
Yeah.
Apparently that nobody else likes, but
it wasn't bad.
It may or may not be stripped out of everything.
Here's the thing: I liked the look on Game Center. That sort of felt. I guess it is the felt on
like
the game
poker table. Yeah.
The stitching on the leather, that was a little over the top for me. But now it looks like that if Ive has his way, that he's going to get rid of that altogether.
I don't care, really. I mean, I think both the skeuomorphic designs are really cute, but I also like the kind of more digital, futuristic, clean look of like a lot of websites. I'm assuming that's probably the other direction he's going to go in, which is more kind of like a web design look, which is just clean and unencumbered, I guess, with little details.
Sure. Apple is planning maybe to move away from Intel chips. This is one of those things that you hear which may take years to shake out.
I hope so, because I'm really not. I don't see how this could happen, especially not soon. Like, if they're moving, well, the rumor is that they're moving off of Intel to go to ARM. So then their iOSification of the desktop can really, I guess, take over. But where ARM chips are now, that's going to really suck on a desktop. So either ARM chips need to really come up, or Apple needs to postpone this for years or not do it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's going to be quite a long time before this happens. And finally, before we get to rapid fire, there's a video, and this, I gotta say, is pretty damn impressive. Somebody used Apple's accelerometer. I'm gonna put this in. Video right now, and if you want to watch the video, but they have this video of a person with a sheet of paper with a keyboard printed on it, and they use the accelerometer. Well, they have to teach the keyboard what each letter is. And so the vibration of each letter has a signature to it. And so by learning the signatures, they can type on this piece of paper, and the accelerometer will pick up the vibrations and actually type properly. It's pretty impressive, I gotta say.
So is it picking up the vibrations from the table? I guess?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I skipped ahead a little bit to the video, but the iPhone actually learns based on this sheet of paper, and it's amazing what you can do. And the video is showing him typing the end and hello world. I think it's pretty cool. And the thing is, I don't know what kind of practical applications it has, because you already have a keyboard on the phone.
Yeah.
Right. But maybe not for the phone itself, but maybe in other applications where you don't want a bulky keyboard or something, you can actually use this. So each key has a signature. And what's amazing about it is that it can distinguish one character from another that are just right next to each other.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I could see, maybe where obviously a little paper keyboard would be easier for travel and mobility. But at least in the video, his paper keyboard isn't any bigger than, say, the iPad keyboard, which tons of people complain is too small. If you're going to make a paper keyboard like that, make it bigger, make a full-size keyboard.
And you can make a ribbon cable. It's not like this is necessary. I just think the technology is cool.
No, it's an interesting little hack.
Similar to this, I saw a video. This isn't on the show notes, but I saw this video of natural language learning where somebody was speaking. I don't know if it was a TED conference or something. I don't have the URL in front of me. I just thought of it now. And he was speaking, and the computer was translating what he was speaking into Chinese. And
that's there's a Microsoft research group.
Oh, right.
It wasn't a TED Talk. It was just recent. But Microsoft's working on that. And yeah, it's like real-time natural language translation. Like the computer is hearing, what he's saying is being dictated. So the computer has to first translate it from voice, audio to dictation into text. And then it feeds it through a translator, which then encodes it back into audio and spits it out in real time. It does all this processing. And not only does it just spit it out in like a computer kind of voice, it picks up the tones and like the timbre of your voice and encodes that in there as well, so that the computer voice that is then spouting out the translation sounds like your voice. Has the same kind of characteristics and quality and like timbre as the speaker does.
Sure.
Which is really advanced.
It was good, but I still think that they have a lot to learn on the dictation side, because I was watching the video and the dictation was written down the bottom like subtitles, and there were quite a few errors. And so if there are errors in the dictation, then you're going to get errors in the translation. So there's still some advances that need to be done in the dictation side. I don't know, maybe it was a bad microphone or what. But for example, he would say a sentence. I'll actually say something like this. I would say a sentence, and the sentence would be in English. So that would be translated to, I would say a sentence, period, next sentence, and the sentence was in English. That should be one sentence with a comma. It was broken up into two sentences. Maybe that's a bad example, but there was one specific, I don't know exactly what he said, but there was something that he said that was broken up in two different sentences, which didn't work that way. And so and some words were dictated improperly. I was more impressed with the translation technology than I was with the dictation. So
yeah, I think that's something everyone is struggling with, right? Siri isn't perfect, and neither is like the Connect voice controls. That's something that I think is still going to take at least a couple of years to really kind of perfect.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, let's move on to rapid fire. Boom, headshot. Apple, I got an email. Did you get this email about iCloud?
I did, and I was like, I already have an iCloud email.
Yeah, everybody, if you had...
Why are you emailing me, Apple?
Well, No, your audio was just a little messy there for a second.
Oh.
If you have a mobile me account, you now have an at iCloud.com account. So you've got at Mac.com, at me.com, at iCloud.com.
Gotta catch them all.
The things. Yeah, gotta catch them all. Mobile me, I choose you. So
I do. I have all of them now. It's retarded.
Yeah, I know. It's like collect them all. And
I just want to keep using .mac. Is that okay?
I use that Mac.com. Still.
I know. I do too. That's my favorite.
It's like, why do I need to use the other ones? Me is cool. It's one less letter, but I still like the name Mac.
Yeah, because I'm in such a freaking hurry. I can't type out one more letter.
In iOS 6.1, which is now in beta, by the way.
Yeah, I got that the other day too.
I did not yet, because it's a long developer story, but I need a device to put that on first. You're going to be able to purchase movie tickets with Siri now. So like you can do sports with iOS 6. Now you're going to be able to do movie ticket purchasing with Siri in 6.1.
Nice. I haven't tried that out yet. I'll have to play around with that.
Yeah, give it a shot. Is Apple being nice to the East Coast?
It sounds like it. In addition to their iTunes button where you can donate to the Red Cross in the App Store on all your Apple devices, Apple went ahead and donated $2.5 million to Hurricane Sandy relief efforts and victims or what have you, on behalf of Apple. And Tim Cook sent out an email to all Apple employees stating as such, which is nice. I think, that obviously, goes a long way to putting a really human face on a company.
Let me tell you something. Living here, it's been rough. Not Katrina rough, but it's been rough. For people that live along the shore, I guess it was more Katrina rough. But like there was a roller coaster that I used to be on when I was a kid. It's sitting in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean now. I mean, it's
now in the water.
I have a friend whose house was gone. My other friend, he lives inland a little bit. He got a lot of water damage. I don't know a lot of people that live on the shore, but a lot of businesses are gone. A lot of stuff that was there when I was a kid, gone. The Jersey Shore, I mean, it gets a lot of bad press because of that goddamn TV show. Believe me, it's terrible.
Which is your favorite?
No. But the Jersey Shore for me was where everybody went every Saturday when you were growing up. I mean, you just live and breathe on Jersey Shore, and to watch all this, the houses and businesses go, it's tough. And what's weird about it is that you never think it's going to happen here, because hurricanes generally don't ever come up this far north. They usually get blown out
go that far,
because of usually the trade winds just blow it out east by the time it gets up here. We very rarely get hurricanes. And we got Irene last year, which was a fluke, and we thought, wow, we'll never get a hurricane for another 20 years, because I can't even remember the last time we got one that was up here. I think it was in college the last time we had a hurricane up here. Then we get another one a year later that's far worse. So
look out next year.
No, but I have my generator just in case. And finally, before we go, Texas woman, oh my God.
I love this story.
She buys an iPad from a guy at the back of his truck. She opens it. There's a mirror inside.
Yeah, and he was careful to speed off before she had even opened the box and seen what was inside.
I was at Home Depot about 3 weeks ago, and I was buying stuff for the room, fix it up a little bit. And this guy comes up as I'm putting in molding, the long piece of molding into my truck. This guy comes up to me and he says, "Hey, buddy, you want to buy a stereo? It's got a projector too." And I look at him, I go, "Do I look stupid to you?" Yeah. No, this is not the first time this has happened to me either. I said to him, "Do I look stupid to you? You're going to sell me some piece of shit and it's not going to work?" And he goes, "All right, buddy. Okay, good. See ya." And he spins off. And so I had to go. What I did was I had to go back in for something, and I wound up talking to the manager. And just as I walk in, he sees me sort of walk in, and I see him just drive off the property of Home Depot. But
I've never run into anybody trying to sell me stuff in a parking lot.
That happened to me. It's not uncommon around here, apparently. It happened to me once before. I was at Sam Ash. I think I was buying some piece of equipment for this. I must have been. And I come out and a different person asked me if I wanted to buy a home theater system out of the back of his truck.
Yeah. Well, and you said, sure, I need one. I would love to, you smelly man.
Seems legit.
Yeah. I always am looking for stereos with built-in projectors.
I tell you, right? Only in Jersey. All right. Apps for this week. What you got?
So I using Waze a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
WAZE.
Mm-hmm.
It's a map, like a social map app. I checked this out like a year or 2 years ago when I first heard about it. And I wasn't really impressed, mainly because it's got this very kind of cartoony, goofy interface. And I'm kind of the mindset, like, that's fine. That's a fine interface. But for a map, for a utility, like, I don't want something that is like a subjective interface,
mm-hmm.
right? If it's a tool, it should look like it's supposed to look like. If that makes any sense. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example.
Is it's a social mapping? Is it? Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm showing it on screen now. Does it use cute little cartoon characters?
Yeah.
Okay. Then this is it.
So you kind of create a profile and you go about, but the super nice thing about it is that if you're using it, not only do you see everyone else around you who's also using it, so like all those little cartoon characters that are on the freeway, like those are other people in other cars using Waze.
Yes.
And so you can stupidly enough, while you're in your car driving, you can message other Waze users through the app. But the better part is you can actually mark stuff in the map. So like in addition to those cartoon characters, you'll see little like points, say, along a freeway that's really jammed. You know, there'll be a little point that'll say,
that's
the
cool.
Waze puts down, if it's heavy traffic, Waze puts down a little point that says the current average speed of people going there. Mm-hmm. So like I'll look, if the freeway's red, well, how jammed up is that? But there's a little marker that says 22 miles an hour, which is like most people in that area right now are going 22 miles an hour. And then there's other markers that people have added that will actually say, like, you can add whatever. So somebody says, they drove past the accident that's causing that traffic. Yeah. Then somebody will put down a marker and say, like, there's an accident here, and you can see those little messages on the map and get a feel for what's going on or what have you. So that makes it really useful.
Mm-hmm. Cool. The one that I'm using
there's sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's also another like kind of gamification layer on top of it where it's got like points at random.
Gave somebody the bird 10 points.
No, like there's literally like a little ball that says 200 points at random places. So you're like, oh, I wasn't going to go, a block over that way, but there's 200 points over there. Well, I should go over there.
Okay.
I don't know what the points get you, but I'm racking them up.
Oh my God. Free fries at McDonald's or some crap like that. The app that I've been using a lot for the last few months, I did a search. I don't think I talked about this before. TiVo app for the iPad, which is it's amazing. I love it. And I think when it originally came out, version 1.0, I think it was for the iPad only. And just randomly, I tried it on my iPhone, and it seems to be working on my iPhone. So it's this really cool design where you can not only look at what's on your TiVo and control your recording and look up schedules. I mean, if you have a TiVo and you love your TiVo, one thing I hate about it is the fact that everything on your TiVo takes forever because you have to type it. I mean, there are TiVo remotes that has a slide up keyboard and everything, but I don't want to use it. What you can do with this app is you can use your TiVo to do searches and it'll come up really fast. So you could do a search for, let's say, Startup Silicon Valley, and you just type the word startup, boom, and comes right up. And then you could say, okay, look at the upcoming episodes and then record this one in HD. And you can control your TiVo. Like if the batteries go out on your remote or something like that, or you want to mess around with somebody who's upstairs, which I do once in a while, like you can pause and scan backwards and everything.
Oh, kind of like the, oh my gosh, I just totally forgot the name of that remote TV app. Starts with an S. Slingbox.
Oh, Slingbox, yeah. Similar. And I should say this. Toast for the Mac has an app in it that allows you to extract and put stuff on your TiVo. I think I mentioned that once before, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So if there's something that's really important that may never show up on Blu-ray or DVD ever, you can pull it down to your computer and use it that way. It comes down encrypted though. There are tools that you can decrypt it with, but yeah, it comes down encrypted, and you have to have your media key in order to use it. But it works, and it's great, and you can just play it on your computer, just in case, have it as a backup. So very cool.
On the computer?
On the computer, like magic.
It's the future.
We're living in the future, Kacey.
Oh my God, it's the best.
Yeah. All right. I think we're done. Is your coffee done?
It's the end of our doc, so yeah.
If you want to contact us, I am at StarMike on Twitter. Kacey is Kacey Queso, the Kacey, not the cheese. You can email us theinfiniteloopshow@gmail.com. Our Twitter ID is InfiniteLoopTV, and we're at theinfiniteloopshow.com. So hopefully Kacey won't be under another mound of code next week. But if so, that's okay.
It depends on how many setbacks we have.
That's all right. All right. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll talk to you later.
Bye. That was horrible.